Hello everyone, this is Caleb Simpson, and you are watching my 100% walkthrough for The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword for Nintendo Wii. Now in the last video we completed all of Sky Keep, and I took a route that was pretty efficient, and it let me skip one of the rooms entirely. So this video I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to show all the cutscenes that take place after Sky Keep. Now real quick before we move on, one thing I think is kind of neat is you can get one of your rooms that has one of these tile stations, get it in the middle of the dungeon, and then you can rotate all the rooms around it, which is, I don't know, I just think it's interesting. Now it's not actually all that practical because you can only have 2 exits this way, or from whatever room you're talking about, and you often can only enter rooms from specific directions, such as this room we're about to enter. You can only start this one because most rooms are like one path only. You can only go from one side. It's one direction only. So for this Earth Temple room, you can only enter from the east side. So that's what I did here. This is the only room that I did not accomplish in the last video. As soon as you enter, you want to roll through this hole over here and then go off to the left because the right side is blocked off with some cracked blocks. So over to the left, there is a bomb flower that you can throw through the hole to blow up the rocks so that we can continue onwards. And you also might want to stock up on bombs. It's kind of funny, the rest of this dungeon, you don't use bombs at all. They're completely optional, but for this room it's super important you use them all the time. This is particularly true if you don't have a bomb bag on you in your adventure pouch slots, because you won't have a very high capacity. This particular room honestly probably is going to take a little bit more like fiddling and messing around, just trying stuff, so you're going to waste a lot of bombs with it. So I would recommend you stock up in this room before you continue. I find shoes kind of a little bit underwhelming because at first glance they seem like a relatively hard enemy, but like especially these bigger ones, I honestly almost feel like the bigger ones are easier than the little ones because you just run up to them and use horizontal slashes, and if you attack them fast enough anyways, they can't do anything. And honestly too, you can use like 3 spin attacks in a row and you guarantee that you'll kill them no matter what, and they're just done. Crawl into the next nearby hole. You want to go ahead and push the switch. This will move a door back at the beginning of this dungeon. I know it's confusing. There's all these holes and things we're crawling through, so it seems a little disorienting probably. You can look at your map too, and it will show you if you zoom in. You can see the individual rooms, although they are really small on your map, so you do have to zoom in to even see it. So here we have a Dark Lizalfos. It's not really too big a deal. If it does curse you, you will have to like hang back for a little bit. There's not really a super good way to attack it otherwise, but go ahead and defeat it, and what you do is you just wait for it to defend and then attack it from the opposite direction. After it's dead, you want to inspect the nearby stone tablet. It gives you a clue about how to proceed. It says you need to strike all the crystal switches in the correct order, and they are hiding behind these robot walls. We need to find all 3 of these things and uncover them so that we can activate them in the correct order. So that's where the first one is. It's just right next to the stone tablet. The next one is down below, and this one you have to roll a bomb along the sandy incline. And what you want to do with this is there's 2 things to be aware of. You pretty much want to stand on top of this little pillar thing, and there's 2 ways to do this. You can either like stand on the pillar and just try to keep the bomb rolling really, really straight, so you can use the analog stick to reorient yourself, or stand still and don't move very much and just change the tilt, like tilt your hand left and right a little bit to change the orientation of the roll of the bomb. And then that's how you... So anyways, just be aware of that. If you're going to move around with the analog stick, I'd recommend you try and keep your aiming with the bomb when you're rolling it very, very straight. If you're otherwise... Yeah, don't do both, is what I'm trying to say. Just pick one way or the other, but don't like do both of them at the same time. Anyways, once you finally get that all taken care of, you want to run down the incline. Also, be sure you don't run while the bomb is still... Like, if the bomb lands in the robot wall and you're like, sweet, you start running, then the animation will start and you will lose control of your character for a second. When you regain control, you will land in the lava. So, don't run early. So once you finally do make it successfully down there, you want to climb the vines down there, and then this will bring us up to the top. This might be a little bit confusing. You can figure this out if you used a, like the beetle to fly around just to see up here. And what you want to do is you want to go ahead and slash the bamboo. The easiest way to do this is to use a charged Skyward Strike, because now that we have increased range, we can easily make it all the way over here. And here, I'm not sure, I just wasn't quite high enough, so I couldn't get this bomb flower into this. But after you blow up all the bamboo, another way of doing this too, to destroy the bamboo, rather than using a Skyward Strike, you can also use a bomb. This is more of an advanced tactic. Pretty hard to pull this off because you have to be very fast. But you can lay down a bomb and then bring the beetle over to it and then bring it where you want it to go. Bombs will also blow up the bamboo. As far as actually getting a bomb into the cup of the robot wall, I think you pretty much have to use the bomb flower. I don't think you can bring a regular bomb fast enough. Maybe you can, I don't know. But I think this is a lot easier in general. So, once you've uncovered the final one, now we need to hit them in the correct order. What the tablet told us to do is hit the lowest to highest. There's this little outcropping over here that you can stand on. This is, from this position, you can actually see all of them. So you can either use the slingshot, you can use the bow, or you can use the beetle. I'm pretty sure you can see this bottom one from here, but regardless, otherwise you can also go to the top of the vines, and that would also work. So hit the lowest one, then hit this middle one, and then hit the one at the far top. Now, you can use the bow from this position, it works pretty good, but otherwise, quick beetle is fine, you don't waste arrows. I think this dungeon in general has a pretty like large abundance of arrows in general, though, so if you do want to use arrows, it's not a big deal. Like, don't feel like you're wasting them because they're going to replenish them right away. I think most of the jars, honestly, this is like one of the only rooms in the dungeon that doesn't have lots of arrows. It just has a whole bunch of bombs, which is fine because that's what we need. So here I backed up a little bit so that I could get enough distance so that I could jump off this successfully. I didn't want to, like, just hop into the lava, so... Anyways, down below there is some jars up ahead that have bombs, but continue on through the doorway that was previously blocked with bars. Now that we've unlocked that, you can head through here to dig down into a hole, which takes us to a previous area we've already been, just from a new direction. So from here, you can use the nearby bomb flowers to knock them over into the rocks here to blow them up. There's also one over to the top as well, so here I'm reorienting myself. You gotta kind of spin around a little bit to do this, but this allows me to get in position so I can knock the bomb over to the other one on the left side as well. Now what this will do is it will close off a gate we used previously, so this will temporarily restrict our access to the previous room, or like the door that led to us getting into this room, but it also gains us access to another portion of the room. So this will temporarily do that, so if you are trying to like go backwards in the dungeon, then you won't be able to do that from this direction yet until you unlock the next shortcut. So just something to be aware of. Not that it's a big deal, like you're pretty much at the end of this whole room, like completing all the puzzles for it, so it should be pretty straightforward. It's kind of a straight path. This room can be kind of disorienting because like every time you enter holes, it always kind of like reorients your perspective and stuff too, so you like spins everything around, so that makes it really weird. I don't know why they decided to do that. They should have left it all just like north, south, east, west solid and like just left it like that. I don't know. So back up top side, head over to the gate. You'll notice that it's blocking off the right side now. The left side is now open. So you want to head in here and go through this hole. This takes us to a new area where we have two Moldorms to fight at once. Remember that Moldorms can't actually go to any dead ends. So if there's like a little area, like this area just to the left of me, for example, where there's some boxes up against me, the Moldorms can't go through here at all. So here what I'm going to do is the same thing. This Moldorm will actually not go south at all. It will only go north. This little area right near the entrance is actually totally blocked off. I don't know why, even though... I guess it's because the Moldorms could run into each other. So maybe this Moldorm stays on the left and that Moldorm stays on the right. Maybe that's the deal. So, but anyway, so I'm totally safe. Like, I could hang out in this little area right in between them would work as well. So, like, just north of me. So right now I'm to the south, but so if I go up and then to the right, then neither Moldorm can come after me right there. Kind of a little cheap. Like once you realize a little bit more about how they work, like Moldorms are just super easy. You can abuse the mechanics like pretty hard. There's nothing they can do about it. So part of what I'm doing right here is I'm actually just like alternating which one I'm attacking to make them a little bit easier. Like just so I'm not fighting them while they're like running around really fast. And actually, like, for that reason, too, I think that Moldorm, because you can abuse the mechanics like this, I think that Moldorms actually in later levels are actually easier, because the first couple, I think the first two Moldorms you fight in the game are in a big open space, and there isn't any dead ends at all. So those ones you actually have to, like, pay attention. Or maybe there's one dead end or something like that, but, yeah, there's, like, one safe point where they can't attack you at all, but the rest of them are like this, where there's like all kinds of places where they can't follow you, so it actually makes it really easy to defeat them. Yeah, it's just, there's way too many places where they can't hurt you at all, I guess. So back up topside, you want to pull the nearby lever, which will lower the gate, which allows us to access the north door. So we can finally head through here. This particular door is closed off right now because I don't currently have it connected to another room. But anyways, that's wonderful. We don't have access to this. One of the jars nearby does have a fairy, by the way, which I think there's 3 fairies total in this dungeon so far. There's one in that Stylemaster room, there's one here, and there's also the Goddess Wall. Goddess Walls are weird. You could technically get like 3 fairies there. But anyways, healing, it's awesome. And this room also has one of these tile mechanisms so we can move stuff around. So this is great. Alright, so I showed Skykeep in the previous video except for this room. So now I've shown this room, so that is actually the end of all the Skykeep-y stuff. So now these are the cutscenes that take place after completing Skykeep and collecting all the pieces of the Triforce. So enjoy these cutscenes. That's basically the end of this video, although, so you can continue it and just hang out and watch these and enjoy these cutscenes. However, quick comment, before you leave, I actually have an epic, like, Easter eggy, like, lore thing to share partway through this video, so stay tuned for that, because that's awesome. I want to rant about it. I'm really excited for it.
まだ発表が済み寂しそう。見られるそうじゃねえ。無理だのふりそうだね。これがその無料の
Ah, yes, you stuck around for my Easter egg. So, if you look between the two doors, you'll see that Zelda's crystal is no longer here. So, that's cool. The developers paid attention to details. That's awesome. And if you go outside, there's actually a couple things you can check out. So, now that we have that part of Skyloft is now down here, the statue of the goddess is down here. The Triforce is in the statue of the goddess's hands. You can't actually get up there anymore, though. It's too bad we can't fly our loft wings down here. But, anyways, you can also just, like, look at the various other architecture. And you can even use some of the air geysers to get on top of the Grusinator, so you can get a better look at the Triforce, which is cool. Also, what's cool is the ruins themselves is, if you look at them, you can see how all the pieces just fit together, and they actually planned this out ahead of time, where these ruins are, this is what they look like in Skyloft. So, if you were paying attention to the shape of the ruins, and you paid attention to the shape of the ruins down here in the Sacred Grounds, you could have realized they actually connected and were the same architecture, the same style. So it's just really neat. If you were paying attention, you would have noticed that's how they work. And also the types of trees and everything are actually similar and stuff. It's like, I don't know, it's just cool. Like, if you're paying attention, it actually makes a lot of sense. But the part that I think is really interesting, if you're paying attention, is right here. Right outside the doors, there's this little slit in between where they snapped off. There's a symbol of the Triforce on the ceiling where the two pieces connect of this dome. This half dome is available in Skyloft and you can look at it. But what's more interesting to me is these symbols along the sides, which if you were paying attention, you would have noticed and you could have realized they were actually connected. These are the symbols for these 6 different elements of the different sages that guard over the Sacred Realm, which is where the Triforce resides. You can actually see the sages in Ocarina of Time, which is actually chronologically takes place after this game. But super cool detail. Like, what crazy attention to detail. So if you're paying attention when you're in Skyloft, before you even meet Zelda the first time, you can see these ruins. Like, and then when you go down to the Sacred Grounds and you see the other half, you could have realized that they were attached. Anyways, I think that's a super cool attention to detail right there. Just that little bit of extra, like lore and hint of future games, whatever. It's just a nice little touch by the developers. It makes me really excited. So the symbols in particular, the whole half dome thing is really in particular what I'm pointing at. I think most players didn't actually notice that at all, but it's just something that I always thought was super cool and I wanted to share. All right, so moving on, we're finally done with the very end of the game, so I would recommend you get some Heart Potion Plus Pluses that are awesome. You can also use Potion Medals, the Potion Medal, which will increase the duration of your potions. So if you're going to do that for the first battle, then using a Stamina Potion Plus is really helpful. For the final battle, a Guardian Potion Plus along with the Potion Medal is super helpful. So this would be the combination I'd kind of recommend. Meanwhile, the Quiver and the Bomb Bag are totally optional. If you want to get rid of something, I get rid of those. The Hylian Shield I got in Linneuru's Lightning Challenge, which was a couple of videos back, so you can check that out if you want to get that one. It's a shield with infinite durability, which is very helpful for the final boss battle. But yeah, if you're going to swap something out, then definitely the Quivers or the Bomb Bag would be what to get rid of. I think the Bomb Bag in particular is the most optional of these different items, so I could have had a 5th bottle in my inventory, and that would have helped. And then I probably would have just filled it up with more Heart Potion. But anyways, I have lots of healing. I'm super prepared. Make sure you save at the nearby bird statue and go ahead and sit on the stool to replenish your life. And we're finally ready to enter the Gate of Time to return to the past and confront Ghirahim. One thing I always thought was weird about this section is, like, all Ghirahim has to do is when he goes through the Gate of Time is he just has to, like, destroy the Life Tree sapling, and then everything's over. We would never have, like, gotten the song from Linneu. But then again, we only, like, planted the seed after we knew there wasn't a tree here, so I don't know, we have our memories intact. Like, the previous future that didn't have the tree is our past, but now our past is having the tree, so now in the present we have a tree because we changed the future that didn't actually exist. Anyways, so maybe if you destroyed the Life Tree sapling, it wouldn't actually change anything because we already know the Song of the Hero and we already completed the Silent Realm. So our past was the tree existing, so if the tree stops existing, that would be our new future, but we already had a past of having the tree. I don't know, never mind. Temporal paradoxes. So yeah, maybe him actually, like, breaking the Life Tree sapling in the past wouldn't actually change anything, maybe. I don't know. Considering just the precedent they've already set in this game. I feel like having the Gate of Time active is actually like a huge security loop for the heroes, you know? I wonder if we could have we made the wish in the present to defeat Demise, but if we could have taken can you take the Triforce through the Gate of Time? I don't know, whatever. Seems like that would have been a better plan. Alright, that's the end of this video, folks. Enjoy these following cutscenes and then join me for the next videos where we will tackle the final bosses of the game. By the way, you could see if you've ever made an alt account, you could make it the shiny color, whatever that is, you know, pink or whatever it is. That'd actually probably be a really simple way to get a username you want. Like, you're kind of lucky that you managed to get Yellow Pikachu, but if somebody else could be like shiny whatever Pokemon you're wanting. Makes it nice and simple. Wow, that's crazy. It's almost like somebody deleted their account or something. It just seems like such an obvious one to do. Every once in a while that happens, like I'm playing games or whatever, and I'm like, how did... Oh, yeah, dude, speaking of which, so in World of Warcraft, oh yeah, I think I was trying to make my character, I was making a Discipline Priest. A Discipline Priest throw a shield around people, and people call it a bubble all the time, and I named my character Bubble Wrap, and it was taken. And then I tried a bunch of different variations of Bubble. I finally ended up on Bubble Maker, and I'm like, that's okay, it doesn't really quite have the same punch to it, because Bubble Wrap is sort of funny because it's a defensive playstyle. So I made my character Bubble Maker, and I was all sad. And then I end up in the starting area, and the guy right next to me is Bubble Wrap. So I yelled at him, like, you stole my name! I can't believe it! He's like LOL at me and then runs away. But it's just kind of like, of all the chances, like, how is that? Because, like, not only, I mean, I wasn't even necessarily surprised that it was taken, you know? It's like, it figures, I guess, you know? I was bummed, but I was like, whatever. But I was mad that it, like, I apparently just missed it by, like, a hair. I don't know.